How's everybody doing today?
Great.
Good. How many people here consider themselves to be an optimist?
Me.
I do.
And I'm sure everybody's heard of the saying, glass is half full or half empty. Okay, well, I'm going to talk to you today. My name is Daniel Caldwell. I want to talk to you today about the effects of positive thinking on everyday life. There are three categories of your life that positive thinking affects. The first one is your health. Okay, researchers at the U.S. National Library of Medicine have determined that positive thinking affects your immune system. So it's been proven that people who think that they're getting sick can get sick. There's chemicals in your body that affect your immune system. So a lot of times people say, well, every year in spring I get sick, and sure enough, they get sick. So it works both ways, though. If you're thinking positive, then it works the other way. So one of my favorite authors, Dennis Waitley, The Psychology of Winning, he has this saying, and I've heard it before, he's not the first one to say it, but the body manifests what the mind harbors. So basically what he's saying is if you're focused on being sick all the time, then it's gonna contribute to you being sick and affecting your immune system. So your health is one way that positive thinking can affect your life. The second way that positive thinking can affect your life is your career. And within your career, I'm talking about your school, sports, anything that happens to you outside of your family life. Okay, so just think if you're at work, the way you project yourself to everybody else affects the way everybody else treats you, which affects your promotions, advancement, your income. Same with school. The way you treat everybody else is going to affect the way they treat you. Having a smile on your face all the time and coming across as being a positive person is going to reflect on everyone else and the way they treat you, as far as teachers and coaches. Barbara Fredrickson with the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill has this theory called the broaden and build theory. Okay, so going back to your childhood, and most people as a child don't think of being optimistic. It's just not something that people think about on a regular basis. But the broaden and build theory basically says that being positive as a child or a young person will affect you all the way through your life. It's a cumulative. So if you were, say as a teenager, if you're very optimistic and positive, and you can focus on being that way, it's going to contribute to everything you do, which builds over your lifetime. So someone who leads a positive life, positive frame of mind, could end up being much wealthier, for example. Or going back to your health, you could be much healthier as an adult. Your stress levels affect the hardening of your arteries and stroke and heart attack and everything. So the broaden and build theory basically says, you can start as a young person just by having a positive attitude will affect you where you are when you're 40. Okay? It's a cumulative. Now, would you think that optimism is hereditary? Okay? Moving on from the broaden and build theory, the broaden and build theory is something that parents can use to help their children. Teaching children to have a positive outlook on life at a very young age is not something that people focus on doing. But think about, a whole lifetime of a child if that's the way they're raised. Well, researchers have determined that optimism is hereditary, and 25%, they determined that about 25% of your positive thinking comes from your genes. Okay? And that's not to say that if you don't have those genes that you can't be positive, but up to 25% of it is hereditary. And probably 75 or 80% they say is learned. And they actually said they couldn't figure out where the other came from, which is kind of confusing. But I thought it was interesting that you can you can get that from your parents. So your parents can teach you how to be positive, but they can also pass down positive genes, which I think is very interesting. So I read an article in Huffington Post, and this guy's name is James Clear with the Huffington Post. He wrote an article about ways that you can create and induce positive thinking. And three of the main things that he suggested would be meditation, writing, and more activity, more playtime, physically, just leisurely stuff. And at the end of the presentation, I have a handout from an author, Zuzu Perkal, and it's called 40 Ways to Trigger Positive Thinking, and I'll pass that out after the presentation. So we've gone through the three ways that positive thinking can affect your life. Okay, you've got your health, you've got your career or your school, your social circle, and then we've got your family and how that positive thinking can help your kids. Health, career, and family. So a couple of quotes from my favorite author, Dennis Waitley. He says that life is a self-fulfilling prophecy. And basically, he's saying you can do anything that you want to do if you put your mind to it. What you think about the most is what you become. And so thinking towards your goals will get you to your goals eventually. And my favorite saying is, winners make it happen and losers let it happen. That's my favorite quote. And I've used this several times in my life, just to get myself pumped up. It's self-talk. And that's the biggest thing about positive thinking. You can change everything that happens in your life by self-talk. I've told people before that I was standing and talking to myself in the mirror, and they're like, "What you talk to yourself?" But yes, you can give yourself a positive attitude on your lowest days, at your lowest point, just by self-talk. So that concludes my presentation. Does anybody have any questions? Well, thank you for coming.